Have you ever been tempted to cheat on me?
No.
So at the parties and you going out with your friends, you've never gotten drunk and looked at a guy and been like, oh, looked at him in a lustful or sexual way?
Like, you're telling me of, like, a girl walked past you and, like, you would kind of know, like, oh, yeah, that's an attractive girl, but you wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, like, I want that girl.
I mean, I feel like I wouldn't look at anyone else when I'm in a relationship.
Okay, well, we'll see what you say. Did you ever flirt with a classmate while in class, on the phone, or whatever?
No.
Your face, your facial expression.
Did a thought in your mind ever cross of crossing a boundary, whatever way, of cheating on me while we were in the relationship?
No.
Did you ever think about cheating on me? Lie.
Is it a lie?
Did you
I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Ha-Rakah, Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders which rule great millstone while and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom. Wa Abba Babal. So this subject of men and women lusting after the opposite sex while in a relationship. I came across that video and really they're wrong in this subject because according to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, whose opinion matters, all right, men are allowed to have multiple wives, all right, but women are not supposed to have multiple partners, not even in the mind. It says in Proverbs 6, verse 32, all right, just to deal with the adultery. It says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doth it destroyeth his own soul, because it's a sin unto death for you to sleep with a married woman, or a woman that has a man, I should say. All right, even looking at her, because it tells you in Matthew 5, verse 28. I'll start at 27. It says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. So, if a man lusts after another man's wife, which happens every day in this wicked-ass society, that's why it's called, Babylon, and also the spirit of Egypt, the spirit of Sodom and Nineveh, the spirit of Nineveh, all right? Because you got these men that have their wives in public that show their bodies off, when in fact they're supposed to be dressed modestly with dresses so no one can really see their figure. Really, they're not even supposed to be in public. They're supposed to be at home, but because of the society that we live in, women are in public. 1 Timothy, it says, verse 9, 1 Timothy 2 and 9, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, not showing off their cleavage, their breasts, their ass, even their lips. You know how they put red lipstick on? That's to make a woman look like she's in heat to a man. Because when a woman is aroused, her lips swell and turn red. All right? So that's what that whole makeup thing is to look like you're aroused to another man. All right? It says, in modest apparel, meaning covered up with the dress on, with shamefacedness, which means you're not supposed to be looking at no man in the face. All right? Because once you do, you commit adultery pretty much. It says, in sobriety, sober, you're not supposed to be a drunk whore in the street. Girls' night out, absolutely not. Not with braided hair, which is pride, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, which they're not supposed to be decked out with jewelry. All right, they're supposed to be simple, They're not supposed to be looking at any man in the face, and they're supposed to be sober, not proud, and without all kinds of jewelry. All right. It says, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works, which is what? Teaching the younger women to love her husband. All right. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach. And now you got women teaching what? Adultery. Right? How to draw men's eyes to them. You see? When she already got some men. A lot of these videos that you see on the internet where the girl's shaking her ass and, showing her body off, her husband is the one holding the fucking camera. All right? So it says, but I suffer not a woman to teach nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. You see, they're not supposed to be in a conversation when two men are talking. They're not supposed to be looking in the other man, because that's a thing too. I saw a video on that where women, they'll be walking next to their husband looking at another man lusting for him. And the husband don't even have no clue. He's just going about his business. But you have a wife you think you could trust, but she's over there looking at another man in the eye, lusting after him. Which, once again, what's it say in Matthew 5, verse 20... What is it, 28? But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman or a man, right? If a woman looks at a man lusting in her heart, to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. See? So, a man could have multiple women, concubines, but you're not supposed to be lusting after another man's wife, which that happens a lot in this society. All right. And the second part is the woman. The woman is not supposed to be looking at no man in the face, lusting after him sexually. So this shows you that, this society is very wicked, very wicked. All right. And majority of the people are going to perish, even the Israelites, because they're caught up in these abominations that Esau sets up for a trap. He's like the fowler that sets these traps up and you fall in them. Like work. A lot of these women that go to work, they'll commit adultery in there. Even if they're not having sex, they're having friendly conversations with other men, even though they're married. You see? Because it's a trap for your soul. It says, Psalm 91:3, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare, the trap of the fowler, which today is the Edomite, the so-called Caucasian. He sets up traps for the Israelites to fall in sin, which is why he's called the son of perdition. All right? The man of sin. And from the noisome pestilence, it says in Proverbs 6, verse 5, deliver thyself as a roe, as a fearful deer, from the hand of the hunter, which Satan, the so-called white man, is like a hunter hunting for the soul of the righteous, which he wants you to fall. He wants you to fall into temptation. That's what he uses, is temptation. That's why every fucking movie you watch, you gotta watch a fucking sex scene in it, Because he's putting that lust in your heart to commit adultery. And as a bird from the hand of the fowler, meaning you fly away free from these things. You see it, and then you flee from it. Hosea 9 verse 8, the watchman of Ephraim was with my power, but the prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways, and hatred in the house of his God. Let's see what this is going into. We'll go up to verse 7. The days of visitation are come, the days of recompense. See, and recompense means to pay you back for what you've done. And what's the payback for adultery? It's death. It says, Israel shall know it. The prophet is a fool. The spiritual man is mad. For the multitude of thine iniquity and the great hatred, which this is why we've been scattered throughout the world in slavery. The watchman of Ephraim was with my power, But the prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways, and hatred in the house of his God. They have deeply corrupted themselves as in the days of Gibeah. Therefore, he will remember their iniquity. He will visit their sins. And when he visits your sins, he puts you to death. All right. And a major sin in this world, all right, but let alone America, is the woman lusting after another man. All right. I got this video and I'll play it for you. All right. Here's this first video. I believe he's a firefighter and he found out his wife was cheating. All right. And he brings it out what she was doing, but she kept it secret. She was actually being filled with another man's cum, right? Taking pills that she don't become pregnant. But this man was sleeping with her, probably eating her pussy out while he was with her. And the bitch was filled with another man's cum.
I don't know what's going on. I was trying to be nice. I tried to. Oh,
just this one. Where is it? Sweetie. Well, it's beautiful. Pretty good for a fire, right? At that time, but.
Can I have it?
Yeah, I fucking know everything. That's right, bitch. I know everything. I had to see this skinny little pill thing. I wasn't impressed. I know about all the plain B pills you had to take, you filthy fucking cunt. You sober?
See, and then the other woman comes up to try to defend her filthy fucking acts. And that's the point I was going to make, was the women with women, all right, that's a problem. It even says that in the scriptures, all right, if you let your woman go abroad, she'll cheat on you, all right? It says in Ecclesiasticus 25, because women are not as loyal as men. Men are the loyal ones, and that's why they fall in love with the woman so, heavy, to the point where they'll kill her or him in the rage of knowing that another man has touched their woman. Like, you see that man, he wants to punch that bitch in the face, but he's restraining himself because, in this wicked-ass society, you'll go to jail if you hurt a woman, It says in Ecclesiasticus 25:25, give the water no passage. Don't let your woman travel around with her friends. Neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Why? Because the word gad means troops, to be like you know how these women, they go on vacation together, a girls' night out, bachelorette parties. What they're doing is they're committing adultery. All right. And if your woman participates in these things, she's committing adultery. It says in Ecclesiasticus 25, verse 19, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, because they don't think nothing of it. Just like the first video I showed you, when they said, the woman was lusting after other men in her mind, she thought of it as nothing and said, well, you do it. When he's a man, you're not a man. You don't have the right to do it. And he, even in his mind, has to do it correctly, or else he's in danger of the judgment of adultery. Because if that woman you're lusting for has a husband, all right, then you're in the wrong for lusting after this woman. All right. It says, let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So all these women, all these lustful women, they need death. All right, they need to be put to death. And then the younger generation will be better, because you got these women that are relentless whores that lust after every man they see, right? And they teach this to the younger generation, all right, to look at these men. And they're not even men, the ones they want. They want pretty boys, which look like faggots, which are effeminate. And it tells you, effeminate men will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. It says in 1 Corinthians 6, verse 9, know ye not the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, So these women, they want these pretty boys, and they're effeminate. You see, so you're getting a death sentence anyway. See, nor adulterers. Adulterers, I just read to you, just to look at a man and say, damn, that guy is good looking, I want to have sex with him. In a woman's mind is adultery. All right, now a man, if he looks at a woman that's with her husband or married, that's adultery. But once again, these women walk around like whores, showing their bodies off, right? So it causes this shit, right? And men, they'll parade their wives around like she's like a show horse with her ass out and her titties out, causing this shit. And that's why the Lord has to put these men and women to death of the nation of Israel, which does not correct their ways. It says, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, faggots. Because, an effeminate is damn near a faggot. All right? But faggots themselves are going to be in the lake of fire. Faggot means a stick of, a pile of sticks that are going to be burnt, which represents those people that participate in these things. It says, nor thieves, nor covetous, meaning you want what's not yours. Once again, that could go back to adultery, but it could go back to another man's car, another man's house, another man's life. Nor drunkards, meaning you're not supposed to be drunken with wine all the time. Nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. And such were some of you, but ye are washed by the word, but ye are sanctified through the truth, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Yahushai and by the Spirit of our power Yahweh, which we're hungering and thirsting for righteousness. All right, that's what we're doing. We are hungry and thirsty for righteousness. I know I am. I hate this fucking society. I hate having to look at another man and his wife be fucking her butt cheeks. The pants are so tight, her butt cheeks are spread apart. You gotta fucking stand behind these people and you're trying to look somewhere else. Really, you want to fuck that dude up. But we gotta fucking wait. We gotta suffer while we wait, patiently wait. Even that woman's right in the fucking head. But you can't. We gotta remain peaceful until Yahushua returns and punishes the wicked and them that do wickedly. For vengeance is his. See, so we're patiently waiting. I know I'm patiently waiting for the Lord to come back. It says in Matthew 5 verse 6, and I'm telling you, these women need not just to be put to death, but they need a gruesome death where they see their own blood and their own meat pulled back to the fat, chopped up. Start chopping at the toes and then end it with the head so that these women could fucking see what they do to men. All right? And men are the prize, not the woman. The Lord created the man first, not the woman. It says in verse 6, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. See, we're supposed to want what is right. We're supposed to thirst for what is right. All right, but you got men and women in this society that go back to the nation of Israel caught up in the way of the heathen. And a lot of this shit is witchcraft. All right, like that. Once again, those clothing, they're made to put a seductive spirit on you, where you lust for that woman, but you're not to be in concupiscence or lasciviousness. Pretty much you're lusting to uncontrollable. I can't do it. I gotta, these women, they act like, I saw this one video where she was trying to explain, how she ended up sleeping with this other guy. And she tried to make it sound like it was an accident. She tripped, rolled into his apartment door. Her clothes fell off and let him stick his penis in there. Right? That's how these women are. It says they wipe their mouth as they did nothing. They don't think of it as evil. They think, oh, it's just nothing. And that's why the Lord has to destroy you, because you think it's nothing. But really, it's something. The Lord said it's something. See? Let me see. I got one more video. All right. So I couldn't find it on X, but I found it on YouTube. Here it is. It says, divorce attorney exposes harsh truth why 90% of women file for divorce. And I'll tell you straight up, women don't love men like men love women. Men are the faithful ones. That's why the Lord said he's looking for faithful men of the nation of Israel. There is really no faithful women. Women survive by a man's power. That's why they want a man that has lots of money, that has some kind of power, because she feeds off of that, which that's her natural way of life. But the world's supposed to be where she can't go to no other man or be put to death. That's really how the world's supposed to be for women. If you leave your husband, it's death. You don't leave with your kids and a check. You leave with nothing. Even other women wouldn't even talk to you because of the shame that's upon you. But today, women are glorified for being whores. All right? And this is what's happening in the world today, is the Lord, he pretty much sent us through the world in captivity under the heathen, and the heathen have increased the wickedness of the Israelite. Told them, you can do whatever you want. You won't die. Just like the serpent in the Garden of Eden. You could lust after a man in your heart. You won't die. It's nothing. Right? They wipe their mouths drooling. Right? But it's a death sentence, which we're going to see. That's why a majority of these women are going to die. All right? Because they're not faithful in their mind. Right? They're fucked up in the mind. That's why a lot of them are on fucking antidepressants. They're on all these fucking medications, right? Trying to justify themselves because they know they're doing wrong. They know they're doing wrong, but they still do it. That's why the scripture I just read you, all wickedness to a woman is nothing. She could justify anything, right? You find a dick in her mouth, she'll justify it. Oh, I thought that was you, honey. Right? So look, watch this video.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a divorce lawyer.
As a divorce lawyer, would you say that divorces are initiated most by men or by women?
Women. 90% of the time.
90% of the time are women. All right, so let's get a scripture with that. Here it is, Deuteronomy 24:4. Her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, meaning slept with another man. For that is abomination before Yahweh, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. When a man had taken a new wife, he shall go out to. That's a different one, but let me get that other one. Let me see here. 24:1. I'm at 4. Let's just view the whole chapter. Verse 1, it says, when a man had taken a wife and married her, had sex with her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, and let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the later husband hate her, write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house. Or if the later husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife, after she is defiled, for this is abomination before Yahweh, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. No, I didn't get exactly what I wanted, but let's see if I can find it in a better one. Yep, there it is. There it is. Let's see. Nope, they don't got it in the 1 Corinthians 7:10. 1 Corinthians 7 verse 10. It says, verse 9. But if they cannot contain, let them marry. For it is better to marry to have a husband than to burn, right? So if you have desire for sex, you should pretty much just be with one person as a woman, being with a man, be with that man, and just stay with that man. All right, and just have sex with each other and don't fuck with nobody else. A man could have multiple women, all right, but he can't fuck around with another man's wife, all right, or even his, as they say, you know how they do these bachelorette parties. That's a wicked ass thing, because really, once you're promised to another man, that's your husband. So you got these women that go out and have bachelorette parties, get blown out, right? Be filled with the other men's cums, and then she goes and gets married the next day. You see, this is some wicked ass shit. It says in 1 Corinthians 7 verse 10, and unto the married I command. So this is a commandment. Yet not I, but the Lord. Because Apostle Paul is speaking of it in his epistle. Let not the wife depart from her husband. Right? So the whole thing is you're not supposed to divorce. There is no divorce, really. But death. It says, but, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried. She's not to be married. She's not to be able to find another man, you know, or even friendship. She's supposed to be abandoned, completely desolate. And let not the husband put away his wife, right? You're not supposed to divorce your wife either. But to the rest, I speak I, not the Lord, but the Lord was speaking through him. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, let's see, I missed the part. I wanted the part where she goes out with nothing. No. Let's see. All right. So this shows you I'm in a spiritual war right now, right? Because I can't even find the scripture. It wasn't even bringing it up. It's Exodus 21, verse 10. And that's why, you know, the Spirit is on me to do this video. Lord willing, I edify. Exodus 21, verse 9. And if he have betrothed, which means like you're engaged, her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. All right, so that's dealing with a man that gets a woman and he don't like her, but he hasn't slept with her. You could give her to your son, but you have to look at her as a daughter and not a wife. It says in Exodus 21 and 10, if he take him another wife, which it shows you we're allowed to have multiple wives. The women are not. All right, the men are not supposed to go after another man's wife. The women, it says, be shamefaced. You're not supposed to not even look at other men to lust for them, let alone talk to them. Look at Eve. She talked to that man in the Garden of Eden, the serpent. All right. It says, if he take him another wife, her food and her remnant, and her duty of marriage, her sex, shall he not diminish. But now we're coming into a time, Isaiah 4 and 1, which these women are going to be like, I could feed myself, I could clothe myself, you know, I could cook for myself, but let me just take on thy name for the shame. What is the shame that these women have? That they're not married. The whole purpose of a woman is to have children with a man. All right? It says, and if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money, with nothing. You're not supposed to give her the kids. You're not supposed to give her the house. You're not supposed to give her the car. You're not supposed to give her another chance. All right? Really, she's supposed to be given a death sentence for her to go out and die in the wilderness. All right? Being ate by a wild beast or some fucking horrible death. All right? You're not supposed to fund her behavior. But in this wicked ass society, you got lawyers like this, which they get the woman, the house, the car, the kids, the man's check, right? And she's sucking other men's shit and fucking them, right? Getting fucked by them, you know? And the kids gotta call another man daddy and all kinds of fucked up shit. This is why America gotta go down, man. A ball.
Why is that the case?
I think that they yap with their friends, and I think they get real frustrated where guys are like, I'll get to it tomorrow. And I think the women just get in their heads and they're like, all right, I'm done.
So it's the women who are sabotaging their own relationships?
That's probably one of the most realist things.
See that? A woman and her friends are the worst thing. All right? And that's what I just read to you earlier. Let not a woman gather abroad. It says in Ecclesiasticus 25:25, give the water no passage. Don't let your woman slide. Right? Neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad, gather together. Women are not supposed to be flying for girls' trips and the girls' night out. Oh, let's go pray at the church together. All that shit is bullshit. All that shit is bullshit. The only girl that she should be hanging out with is another woman that you're sleeping with. You see? So, women, if your woman's in the military, if she's going to work, she's talking to other men, looking at them, lusting for them, and them for her. All right? That's the way it works. That's why the Lord gave us commandments how to walk in this world so that these things would be put aside and not, cause stumbling blocks for us. But what does the man of sin do? He made it where your woman go to work. Next you know, she's in the backseat of a car having a train ran on her at the job. I've seen videos like this at Amazon. I've seen these things at Walmart. I've seen these things happen. All right. One time I was at Walmart, I was working there, and this dude was going home for lunch with this other guy's wife, sleeping with her, doing all kinds of shit. He was bragging about all the shit he was doing to her. And that guy comes in with her shopping looking like a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? That's why death has to be brought forth through judgment. And the Lord's going to do this. He's going to put these men and women that commit adultery, whether they do it physically or they lust after it, they look at another person that they're not supposed to look at and lust for it. It's a death sentence. All right? It's a death sentence. You're going to be in that lake of fire, man. All right? And that's why these women, they have a judgment like it is, and where they're going to be ran through. It says in 2 Ezra 16, verse, what was it? I think it's 30. All right. It says, verse 33, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms, right? They wanted a career. They wanted a college education. They chose not to marry. Well, fuck them. They're gonna mourn in these last days for having no husband. Because your whole purpose was to have a husband, not to read a fucking book. All right? It says, the woman shall mourn having no husbands. Because these women don't have husbands. They sleep with all kinds of different men. But no husband to protect them. It says, their daughters shall mourn having no helpers, which they follow their ways. And so the mother and the daughters are fucking wicked. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. The women that have husbands, their husbands are going to be destroyed in war. Whether it's in the war of the streets of America or in the war in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Well, how's that going to leave that woman desolate? Look at the woman in the movie Book of Eli. Her water was black. I watched this video, and once the husband dies, the woman starves pretty much. She stops eating because she can't even gather the food no more. At a certain age, women really can't do much for themselves anymore, right? Try to get a 65-year-old woman to chase down a chicken. You know what I'm saying? So they starve to death. They die without a husband. That's the thing with women. They die. In the real world, they die. And their husbands shall perish of famine. So the Lord wants them to die because they're fucking wicked. All right? So even the ones that have husbands, I showed you a video of a woman that had a husband, and he's a firefighter, right? A good job. He looked like a healthy man. He wasn't so-called ugly, what they call wild looking, and she still cheated on him. See, so the Lord's going to destroy these women, all right, that are unfaithful, which is the majority of them.
Things a divorce lawyer has ever said. Like, you can't disagree with her. And I know some of you...
And I don't know this guy. I'm after the video, but he's commenting on the video, all right? I just wanted the video because I saw this yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to do a sit-down on it, all right? And it vexed me that, you know, women even have the right to divorce their husband, take everything, and then majority of the divorce is because the woman cheated, and she wants to cheat. She wants to see if the grass is greener on the other side, and if it ain't, I'll come back to you. That ain't how it works, bitch.
Guys are hearing that 90%, and you're like, wait a minute, when did it go up to 90%? So it's 70% that women initiate divorce, but it goes up to 90% initiation when those women are more college educated. It's also important to note that the more educated the couple in the marriage, the less...
Which they show you in the movie Wizard of Oz. You know, he gave that, what was it? I believe it was the Scarecrow, a PhD, right? And that's what Esau does in this society. He tells these women that they're more than they are, right? They could be more than they are. That's the whole lie in the Garden of Eden. You could be as a god. You can't be like a god. The men of Israel are as gods. The women are not. They're as princesses to the men. But they want to be queens, which means a whore. All right?
likely for divorce in total as well. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it is that they're getting with their girlfriends, they're angry, they just get frustrated, and they have a lot of people in their ears, and I think they just want to, when they're done, they're done.
But surely, as a woman, you shouldn't tolerate any and everything in a relationship.
Definitely not.
See, they're saying in a relationship, a woman don't have to tolerate everything. Bitch, you die if you don't tolerate it. Look at the women in generations before us. Like your grandmother or your great-grandmother. All right? She had no rights. She couldn't call the police to save her. If her husband was having another family, there was nothing she could say because it was death to her. He could beat her to fucking death and bury her in the backyard or even kick her out of the house, and she have nowhere to go. Not even the parents want her because of the shame she brought. You understand? This is a wicked-ass society. And this is why we pray daily. A bob, a ball, a bob, a ball, a bob, a ball. You got women ruling. Look at this. This woman is a divorce lawyer. She's making her money. That's her money. That's the bread on her butter. The butter on her bread is divorce. Right? And she says a woman shouldn't put up with nothing. The women are to put up with everything a man gives her. A man don't have to love his wife. According to the scripture, he could hate his wife. Because a woman is possession. She has no rights according to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
At all, but I feel like things build up really easily with people, and they're talking about it more, where you're like pissed off and you get kind of over it quickly.
But how long have you been a divorce attorney?
Probably like since 2016 I've been practicing, and then 2017 officially barred.
So being that you've been in the field for 8+ years, do you think that marriage is outdated now?
I don't know about outdated, but it's a more acceptable to get divorced, right? Because like we're seeing it a lot more. It's not taboo, so it's changed.
Do you think that?
See, it changed. Back in the day, it was taboo. It'd be like, ugh, you're a divorced woman, ugh, right? Something's wrong with you. Why'd your husband put you aside? Ugh. That's nasty. So then no one would not even other women would want to socialize with a divorced woman. You see? So this shows you that this is a wicked-ass society where it's accepted. It's promoted to divorce your husband. What do you think they do in these therapy classes? All day, you see these, do you need a therapist? The therapist is talking to a therapist. You know what I'm saying? This is some fucking bugged out bullshit that we have to live under, right? Which they put the woman over the man. It tells you that. So you can't even, get shit in order because in this wicked ass society, they put the woman over the man. Isaiah 3, Verse 11, woe unto the wicked, the so-called white race, which allow this under their watch. It shall be ill with him. So you got to pay for all this. For the reward of his hand shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, which it means childish leaders are their oppressors, and women rule over them, which I watched a show about Elon Musk, and they said he's like a kid. You know, in his head, he's just like a 12-year-old kid playing with spit in his bubbles, you know. They which lead thee cause thee to err. They teach you to do evil and think there's no consequence, and destroy the way of thy paths. Teach you these evil things as what is right when it is wrong. Right? What does it say? Woe unto them that call, it says, woe unto them that call evil good. Isaiah 5:20, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that putteth darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. See, and that's what we're living in. Everything's all fucked up, right? But the Lord is going to use the word that we're speaking, which is his word, to overturn this earth. It says his voice does not return void. It's going out and it's affecting who it's supposed to affect, so that they could repent and come into the fold as an Israelite, which are Israelites. You have to be an Israelite, right? But the Spirit testifies with your spirit that you're an Israelite. And these women, right, they want salvation. It's in marriage. And once again, you can't be lusting after all kinds of men while you're married to another man. All right? Isaiah, what was that? No, it's 1 Timothy 2. It says in verse 15, notwithstanding, meaning the one that is willing, the women that are willing to do what is right against their own heart, you know, your heart is deceiving you, or, you know, you're being plagued with lust or whatever, and you go against that, you are willing. That means you're good. You're trying to do good. But the woman that embraces it and lust in her mind and plots how she could have an affair and, ooh, this and that in secret, that woman's going to be destroyed. So the woman that is willing, the Israelite woman that is willing to put in the work and do what is right, even though it doesn't feel right all the time, she shall be saved in childbearing, which is sex. That's the whole purpose of a woman. A woman wasn't made to fucking go to space. A woman wasn't made to race car drive. All right. A woman wasn't made to train horses. A woman wasn't made to plow the field. A woman wasn't made to drive a bus to get people to their work on public transportation. A woman wasn't made for none of that shit. She was made for sex. That's why she has a pretty face, a round ass, right? Big breasts, and a uterus. That's the purpose of a woman, is sex. To bring forth children from one man. And that man is supposed to be the one that you lust for. The one that took your virginity. All right? You're not supposed to have all these fucking experiences, know all these porn sites, right? Have all these, and then you all of a sudden you're supposed to fucking be a virtuous woman, right? It says, if they continue in faith and charity and holiness. Holiness means you're set apart. You're not in all these groups. Holiness with sobriety. All right? Sobriety means sober. All right? Sober meaning not drunken. Sober meaning you know what you're doing. A lot of these women say, I didn't know what I was doing. I slipped and fell, and his dick went in my mouth. You see? And then they wipe their mouth and act like nothing happened. Right? So these women are going to be destroyed that are wicked. That's my point. All right? And this is just the spirit the Lord put upon me this morning to do this video, my first video. You know, I hope I edify. You know, men, you're better off alone, like Apostle Paul. You're better off alone. But if you do marry, try to get a virgin if it's possible. If not, shit, buy prostitutes. Don't fucking marry because, as King Solomon said, out of 1,000 women, he didn't find one loyal one, one righteous one. All right? And even in the book of Susanna, which she was a righteous woman, she thought in her heart, these two elders that were wicked wanted to sleep with her. And she still thought in her heart about if she should do it. Even though she was a righteous woman and she was protected by Daniel, who brought out the truth about it because they wanted to put her to death because she didn't sleep with them. But she thought of it. And that was the point that was in that story. She thought about it. If I do this, they'll let me live. See, that's wicked. That's why the men are faithful. We'll go to death for what we believe in. We're not going to say, oh, if I give in. And any man that is like that, you're an effeminate traitor. You're a fucking sellout. You deserve death. All right? But men, we're supposed to not love our lives unto death. Being down for ours, 10 toes down. See? You're not supposed to think about, oh, man, whatever it is. Whatever fucking wicked thing you do. You're supposed to cast those wicked imaginations aside and move forward with what is right. All right? But just to, make that point, the woman is the weaker vessel, so understand that also. And that's why, once again, it's better to be alone. And like Apostle Hart says, go outside the country and get a wife. But even then, a lot of these women in these other countries are fucking corrupted by the internet, by social media, right? They've been over-sexualized. A lot of them, they're walking around in booty shorts, right? Every man's lusting after them. They're used to that shit. They're used to it. So what you going to do with that? There's nothing to be done with that. That has to be put to death. The only cure for an adulterous woman or a man that commits adultery with another man's wife is death. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abba.